I am a free man in a new dimension with absolutely nothing to my name. While I was still healing and staying in St. Mungo's, they asked if I wanted anyone to come see me. I asked for Mooney. I asked for Mooney. I hadn't even considered the possibility that your dad might have been alive, or me. Last I saw you, you had enough problems. Anyways, Mooney came to visit me and got the abridged story of my life. Tonks came to visit almost as much, and she knows it all too. When the meaty witch said I could go, Mooney said I could always stay with him, considering he bought this flat with the money he inherited from my death in this dimension. I figured I'd take him up on the offer. Some nights I'll crash on Tonk's couch, but yeah, that's been my life so far. Sirius? Harry asked curiously. What about James and Lily? You haven't talked to Prongs? Sirius pouted and didn't look Harry in the eye. I met him, but that pillock is nothing like the James Potter that was my best friend. Harry held back a smile at Sirius's childish behavior. How is he? He doesn't even like pranks. Harry bit his lip at how outraged Sirius was. That complete bastard. He came over with his son, James Jr., Sirius grumbled. I was all set to surprise him and reveal to him who I really was, where I was from, the works. He didn't even know me, and he was telling his son about how an attitude like mine would never make it in the auras. Well, I don't think it would, Ma. That's not the point, Sirius interrupted. It's the way he looked down on me just because Mooney and I were goofing around. Mooney thinks he was probably the same James I knew, up until that Halloween, so he doesn't know. Sirius shook his head. He thinks I'm some cousin of this world, Sirius Black. Sirius frowned and sipped his beer. Of course he'll probably figure the truth out when you meet him. Harry was watching his godfather. Are you jealous? Well, I just got you back, Sirius pointed out. And you've got the chance of a lifetime to meet your parents. You're pathetic. I missed you, Sirius whined. And now that I've met the monstrosity he's become, I miss Prongs too. Monstrosity. He's everything we swore never to become. A Death Eater? No, Sirius said. Worse, he's a mature adult. A cautious, careful, responsible person who lost his sense of humor and got a stick jammed up his Eggard's padfoot. Harry stopped him. I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself, starting up negotiations with Bizarro Prongs over joint custody visits with me. Do you even want to stay in this dimension any longer, as opposed to going back or looking for a better alternate dimension? Damn, Harry cursed. I never even thought about looking for another one. Wait, so you know how to get back? Harry shrugged. I was going to suggest the two of us jump into the exit and see where it takes us. Sirius rolled his eyes. Boy, you really have unraveled the mystery of that thing, haven't you? Harry realized this plan would fall under the stupid category and grimaced. Not to mention you missed out on the fun of that ride. It's that pleasant, probably the worst form of magical transportation I've encountered, and I've hated just about all of them. So that's saying something. You think maybe you'd want to stay here? Sirius asked hopefully. Harry winced a little. There's a Voldemort here. There isn't one at home. He's kind of a pain in the ass. But there isn't a boy who lived here, nor a dangerous but innocent Azkaban escapee either. I know for a fact they're both pains in the arsey. We're broke. We have absolutely nothing. I'm working on a home, and something tells me we'd be able to get by. What about our friends back home? You've got family too, who are all already convinced I'm dead and apparently have been for 10 years. I mean, I know you'd be starting from scratch, but on the plus side, you would be starting from scratch. No stairs, no preconceptions, no ulterior motives. No one will have a clue what that scar on your forehead is from. Harry was rubbing his chin in thought. I really don't have any idea what jumping into the exit will do or where it will take us. Why are we even having this conversation, then? Sirius declared. As far as this world's Voldemort goes, I say fuck him. Don't even give him a second thought. I really can't find it in me to care about him, Harry admitted in slight shock. I suppose he did kill us in this dimension, but by the same argument we may have never been able to come here if he hadn't. Exactly, Sirius agreed before thinking about what Harry said. What? It's possible that we came to this particular dimension because our counterparts were gone, meaning that just about any dimension we can get to will be one where we were Death Eater fodder, Harry explained. Maybe. Why? Well, I mean, maybe we can only be here because our other bodies are dead. You've crossed a gateway to a new dimension and you're thinking about the limits to what's possible. Okay, fine, whatever. I thought you were trying to convince me to stay. Hey, you believe whatever you want, and if it works for you, Sirius said with an exaggerated shrug. All I know is it's a lot harder to pick up chicks who've spent a decade thinking I was the Dark Lord's favorite and a psychopathic killer. Even then, sometimes the ones I could pick up aren't exactly the safest way to spend an evening. We should definitely base this decision on where we're going to get the most play. Well, if you were willing to use your fame, Sirius argued, then maybe I can see I was being sarcastic. So are you up for staying here? Sirius asked. You could get to know your parents. Now they're a selling point. No, but I figure a pitiful little orphan boy who never got a chance. Bite me, Sirius. And don't be so melodramatic and jealous. The James and Lily Potter of this world are a middle-aged married couple that had to bury their infant son 25 years ago. Meeting them won't tell me hardly anything about my parents, two people who died so I could live, and now I have to placate your fragile ego, despite the fact that I just chased you, my real godfather who did inadvertently die to protect me across dimensions. Whoa! Now, you don't get to trip and fall into the veil, claiming you chased after me. Harry was smiling brightly, getting the chance to just bicker back and forth again with Sirius. Why do you think I cared so much about the exit and spent the last few months studying it? Sirius grinned back. Fine. If you chased after me, then I died a bloody hero protecting you, not inadvertently. I'll get started on your medal right away. Getting hit with a blood-freezing curse directly in front of the exit because you were taunting your cousin sounds like at least an order of moron. Second class. Second class, Sirius demanded. What do I have to do to get a first class? Stay dead, Harry smirked. Ouch, Sirius chuckled. Merlin, it's good to see you, Harry. You're not going to hug me again, are you? Sirius stood up threateningly. No, I'm going to get another beer. Ready for your next? Sure, Harry agreed, handing Sirius his empty bottle. When Sirius reached the kitchen, Harry's eyes were drawn to the picture he'd set down. iPad foot, you never mentioned anything about Lily here. All their kids! I met James Jr. just briefly, Sirius called out. Seemed like a nice enough kid. Didn't care if I called him Jimmy, though the pillock was as annoyed by that name as he used to be back in school. Seeing you now, though, I mean you've got Prong's hair more, but you don't look like him near as much as you used to. James Jr. looks more like his dad than you do. How old is he? 17, I think, Sirius answered, handing Harry another beer. He's finishing up his 6th year now. Mooney figures he's a shoe. In for head boy. Come to think of it, were you head boy? I didn't go to Hogwarts for my 7th year, Harry explained. Had more important things to do. What? Sirius gasped. I can't believe Dumbledore would let you get away with that. Dumbledore was dead by then, Harry flatly stated. And you haven't finished telling me about the Potters of this world, Lily. The girl's name? Sarah Potter, 20 years old, studying healing and apprenticing to Madame Pomfrey at Hogwarts. Lily's teaching Muggle studies there. I've not met either of them, but Tonks and Mooney insist they're both delightful people. Of course, they think the same thing about the anti-marauder. Now your turn. Go, wow! Harry slowly drawled. The warmth of the family I never knew is overwhelming in your descriptions. But if that's how we're going to play this game, let's see 5th year, Department of Mysteries. You died. Dumbledore told me the prophecy that night. Pretty crappy night all around. 6th year, learned a little about Horcruxes and Voldemort. Dumbledore got killed by Snape. What? Yeah, Snivelus, Harry agreed. Some cocked-up plan where Dumbledore sort of made him do it. But things went to hell in a handbasket after that. Me, Ron, and Hermione ditched school to track down the Horcruxes so that Voldemort could at least be theoretically killed. Some good times, some bad times, a lot of studying took our newts. But 6 years later, all 3 of us survived, and we'd pulled it off. Voldemort was dead for good. I'd killed a number of the more pesky minions along the way, and the rest were easy enough for the Ministry to round up. Since then, the last couple of years have been peaceful and well. To be honest, no, Sirius said, shaking his head. You don't get to gloss over everything like that. I need some details. Harry sighed. You're really going to force me to relive some of my worst memories? Sirius stared at Harry and saw a mixture of amusement and a little bit of genuine apprehension. Damn it. Fine. I'll get more stories from you as I can dig them out, but give me something at least. Killing Voldemort. How'd that feel? Harry took a big drink of his beer and carefully considered his words. Truthfully, it felt fucking fantastic. Every other time I've been responsible for a death or had to take a life, I felt sadness and anger at the situation. But killing him was better than grabbing the snitch from right under some prick's nose. I felt alive more than I ever have. It was disgusting, gory, messy, and hurt like hell, but to kneel over what was left of his body and to watch it burn was amazing and cleansing and therapeutic and blissful. There really aren't words for the complete and total sense of righteousness I felt. I won, he lost, I lived, he died, and I did it without stooping to half of the shit he did. Damn, Sirius whispered, watching Harry's little monologue. What? You looked a little scary there. Might be because I am a little scary, damn. What now? I just realized you're not going to be able to leave this world's Voldemort alone. Harry shook his head. No, I'm more than happy to leave him alone. This world's Voldemort hasn't done anything to me. Besides murder you as an infant, the Voldemort who crapped on my life has been dealt with. Maybe there's a dead baby Harry with a score to settle with this Voldemort, but right now this particular Harry couldn't care less. And what happens when you start to care about the people in this dimension? Harry sighed. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. But if we're starting from scratch, then we're not carrying any old grudges. Sorry, I still hate Wormtail and Bella. If this world's James seems so different, why is it so hard to believe others might be even more different? But Harry, Sirius moaned. Fine, I hate them too. I'm just saying this Voldemort's done nothing to us. Harry and Sirius, the dimension travelers, so I have no desire to have anything to do with him. Us, Sirius grinned. I am automatically included in your inevitable quest for vengeance. Everyone I give a damn about in this dimension so far is in this room, Harry shrugged. I am grateful to the unspeakables, Moony and Tonks, for taking care of you, but yes, us. And as low-key as this world's Voldemort has been, there stands a decent chance our paths will never cross. Sirius just laughed at Harry, making no attempts to calm down. Harry pouted silently and drank his beer. Whatever happened to Peter? Sirius asked softly before adding louder, or Bella. Dead and dead, Harry said. That's one of the nastier memories. Feel up to sharing that one. When's Moony or Tonks getting home? Moony's off work at 5 and apparates home. So right around then. Tonks' schedule fluctuates a bit more, but usually checks in on me before 6. You want to go get us something a little stronger, and I'll tell you this one. Sirius agreed without question, and hopped back towards the kitchen to fetch the fire whiskey. First thing you should know is the prophecy, Harry yelled down the hall towards Sirius. Either must die at the hand of the other, Sirius called back. That the one? Yeah. How'd you know that? Same prophecy here, Sirius explained as he poured 2 small glasses of fire whiskey. Only people think it's about Neville. Or it used to be Neville. Used to be. Sirius took a small sip of his fire whiskey and lay down on the couch. Long story. Yours first. Harry nodded and began. There was a line in the prophecy about he will have power the Dark Lord knows not. The moment Peter and Bella died was the moment the Dark Lord found out a little about that power. Is this the thing where you lifted me up and held me there? Harry smiled and sent an invisible arm towards his godfather. Sirius, yelped, rubbing his shirt. That's awesome! You've got to teach me how you cast a wondrous nipple-twisting curse. I doubt I'll be able to, because that wasn't a spell, Harry said with a shake of his head. Not exactly. Well, it sure smarts like one, Sirius said tenderly, pushing on his chest. After we'd taken our newts, Harry explained, I needed to focus my studies and wanted to get really good at a field or a style of dueling. I'd heard my mum was pretty impressive at charms and my dad at transfiguration. I'd seen Dumbledore using transfiguration in a duel, and it was, you transfigured my nipple? No, transfiguration I was decent at, probably as good as Hermione, but it would have taken years to reach even McGonagall's level of mastery. No! After a few days of musing, I decided I wanted to master the summoning charm. I had always been pretty good at that one, and I wanted to see how far I could. Take it! Sirius was mumbling in confusion to himself. "You summoned my nipple. First I learned it silent, then wandless. After that, silent and wandless both was a piece of cake, and within just a couple weeks I could summon with only a thought. No hand motion, no words." Sirius was impressed listening to Harry. "After summoning, I figured I'd try banishing. Took a bit of work, but pretty soon I could change a light bulb without ever getting off the couch, or even looking up." Harry grinned at his godfather. "I could completely control nearly all physical aspects of my immediate environment. The more complicated things got, the more focused I had to be, but it was fun searching for limits. Distances took a lot more control and tired me quickly. After a while, we asked Professor Flitwick for advice on directions to improve my talent for this particular branch of charms." Harry chuckled. That little bugger was squeaking and chirping with joy. He couldn't believe the level of control I had, and it was his idea to take a look at the magic being cast. "Are you familiar with any occlumegy spells?" "Yeah," Sirius said, pulling out the wand Tonks had given him. He cast the spell and asked, "What am I looking for?" Harry cast the same spell and saw their bodies were softly glowing, indicating they were wizards. "Can you see the magic glowing around my body?" Sirius nodded before jumping back in surprise as a ghostly magical hand shot out from Harry's body straight towards him. It stopped just before Sirius and grabbed his beer before he could spill it. "Careful there, Padfoot," Harry grinned. "You almost spilled your beer. What the hell is that?" Harry had extended his usual half-dozen arms, and they were all floating gently in the ambient waves of magic. "These are what my magic manifested due to my constant combination of summoning and banishing charms." One of his extended arms tweaked Sirius on the nose and patted him on the back. "I'm not sure if there's a limit to the number of arms I can call up, but I did extensive training keeping 6 of them always up." "You've got some extra arms," Sirius said. "Did you really need to train yourself how to use them?" "I'm still figuring out uses for them," Harry said, and pushed himself up into the air with 3 of them. Sirius could see them lifting Harry in the air, but it was weird seeing only the magic without anything physical behind them. He could see how it appeared Harry could hover at will. Harry swiftly and smoothly held his physical arms out and pretended to fly in the air towards Sirius, stopping just before him. His magical arms extended as he asked backwards away and landed gently right in his seat. "In most duels, I don't even get hit with a spell," Harry added, as suddenly 6 nearby objects began hovering protectively around him, each held in magical arms that overlapped and crisscrossed as they floated. "Damn," Sirius admitted, cancelling the oculargy spell on his eyes. "Without seeing the magic, it looks even more impressive." Harry set all the items back where they belonged and let his magical arms dissipate. "And they saved my life when I was captured and held by Death Eaters. Bugger," Sirius admitted, pouring himself a little more fire whiskey. "Draco fucking Malfoy!" Harry spat the name out, put Dobby under the Imperius and forced the house elf to slip me a draught of living death. I woke up chained in a magically warded cell. 3 days of listening to a few of the idiots spew their usual rubbish, shoving me around, spitting on me, and trying to act superior. But it was clear that I was to be saved for their master. Finally, Bellatrix put me in magic-inhibiting cuffs and led me towards a small meeting room. To this day, I'm still slightly curious at what the Dark Lord was going to say, but I never gave him the chance. As soon as she led me up to his horribly cliché throne, I saw the 2 other Death Eaters already standing by him were Lucius Malfoy and Wormtail. She was about to hand Voldemort my wand when I made my move. The magic-inhibiting cuffs stop magic channeling out from your hands and wrists, but my invisible magical arms were free, and all of my magic had woken up ready and waiting as soon as I got out from the wards of that cell. Voldemort reached out to take my wand from her when he picked up on my magic in the air and stopped short. He looked me straight in the eye, right as all 6 of my arms grabbed their targets and pulled. 3 simultaneous cracks echoed around the room as Bellatrix, Lucius, and Peter's heads twisted violently. They all fell to the ground, dead from their broken necks, while I just stared at Voldemort. Harry took a large gulp of fire whiskey. I felt a little sick at the sound, but I saw fear in Voldemort's eyes. Harry shrugged and finished anticlimactically. Then I grabbed my wand, found a broom, and alternated between blocking spells and throwing objects at Voldemort. I took quite a few wrong turns, but eventually escaped. You're a lot scary. On a completely unrelated side note, if you ever happen to try apparating while wearing magic-inhibiting cuffs, you should know that you'll splint your hands off at the wrist. Sirius laughed out loud. Totally unrelated, I'm sure. The best part, aside from taking out those three, was Voldemort got a lot more cautious and his attacks slowed down to a trickle. Harry took another drink. It was when I got back that I found out Voldemort had been busy in the 3 days he had me locked up. That doesn't sound ominous at all, Sirius pointed out in an effort to ease the tension. Harry sighed tiredly in remembrance. He drew the Aurors to Azkaban in a bit of misdirection and attacked personally in Hogsmeade during a Hogsmeade weekend. Oh, Sirius winced at the thought of students. Thing is, you remember the day rebellious little study group you started up, sure. Well, after me, Ron and Hermione didn't return to Hogwarts, a few members took it upon themselves to keep the group going, one of those being, holy crap, Ginny. Harry looked at his godfather in surprise. He was about to answer affirmatively when he realized Sirius wasn't even looking at him. A soft, familiar voice spoke up from over Harry's shoulder. Hi, Sirius. Harry closed his eyes, not even wanting to look up. Oh, bugger,